Hi beautiful people, welcome back. Hope everybody is doing fantastic wherever you are in the world. And you guys, my prayers are with all of those in the Midwest and the South that's actually dealing with no power because of the severe storms that are going on. You guys are in my thoughts and prayers, and I hope everything gets sorted out very quickly. I hope everybody is doing well. I could be doing so much better, but this is just way too much, way too much. Before I get into it, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and the notification bell so you'll be notified each time I upload. Also, please do not take what I say as fact. Feel free to do your own research and come to your own conclusion. So what I'm speaking about is Katie Joy took it upon herself to actually reach out to one of Jessa SEEWALD, Jessa Duggar's sponsors, and report her as being this evil and disgusting person. But let me start from the beginning. So Katie Joy posted this screenshot of Jessa and says Jessa's sponsored content, meaning that she watched a video of Jessa's yesterday, and in that video was sponsored content. Okay, so she goes and she says Jessa SEEWALD posted a new video containing sponsored content from Native, a skin and body care brand. The company promotes an inclusive brand that accepts all people. I don't know if at Native and tags Native knows about Jessa's husband recently posted a video that was anti-LGBTQ. In the video, he told people to pray away their feelings and not to act out. Practices like this are harmful to the LGBT community and led to suicidal thoughts and suicide by LGBTQ youth. They also don't appear to be anti-woman nor for child abuse, which is curious because Jessa's family promotes blanket training and uses a rod to discipline their children. What the fuck does Jessa's family have to do with Jessa, with her own family? I've reached out to Native for comments on these details and haven't heard back. Check this out, you guys. She says, and she responds to a person and says Jessa doesn't need brand deals. Her YouTube is monetized. Brand deals literally pay peanuts compared to ad revenue. Who the fuck is she to count somebody else's money? Who the fuck is she to go on her channel to know what's best for the next person? How does she know what Jessa's getting paid? Doesn't mean Jessa has 2.3 million followers on her Instagram, okay? On her YouTube channel, she has thousands, I think even more than Katie Joy has. I will put the amount here of subscribers she has on her YouTube channel. This woman has gone too far. She is the one that's always complained about going real life. How is this not going real life? Jessa's the only one that she's even said is supporting her family, because apparently her husband is a pastor and he gets paid nothing. So why would Katie Joy do something like this? If she wasn't a fucking bitter Betty, she wasn't jealous, envious of Jessa. Let's keep it moving. Then she posts this, Jessa dropped by Native. Hi, thanks so much for reaching out. We weren't aware of some of these details, but our team is currently looking into this. As of now, we have no plans to continue working with Jessa in capacity. We appreciate you bringing this to our attention, and you're right that this doesn't align with our values. First of all, why does Native just go off the assumptions, the speculation of a total stranger, of somebody that they don't even know? Why? Then she says, at Native responded to our questions about Jessa SEEWALD representing their brand. Native promotes inclusivity and acceptance of all people. We shared that both Ben and Jessa have repeatedly made homophobic statements and directed them to a video by telling people to pray away their gay. They said they had no idea about her background and have no plans to work with her in the future. I have never had a sponsor, okay, but to my knowledge, or this is my way of thinking, would Native not have researched her platform and found out the type of, what kind of content she has? So they knew she was a vlogger. She vlogged about her family every day. So they had no problem with giving her that sponsorship. Any company that supports the LGBTQ has a right to know if an ambassador makes disparaging or homophobic comments. Where's the proof of Jessa being homophobic, Katie Joy? Where? They also have the right to know that Jessa is connected to a cult that promotes corporal punishment. It's legal in Arkansas, Katie Joy. It's legal. Submission of women, racism, and total authority of men. Let me make this very clear to you, Katie Joy. Not because you have a fucked up life must you go and ruin anybody else's life. We appreciate Native's quick response. They agree that Jessa does not align with what their brand stands for. For those claiming this interferes with Jessa's work, let me be clear about something. There are plenty of conservative brands she can partner with and do advertising for on her channel. However, she should not be profiting off a company that promotes inclusivity when she promotes the exact opposite. You profiting off the unfortunate livelihoods of these kids that you said you're not going to stand for being beaten. You profiting off the women that you say are being abused by their husbands. You are profiting off of. You are doing not a damn thing to help these people. Let's be clear about that. You feed your audience lies. You go off hearsay. You don't produce receipts. You say your sources told you. What happened to you the last time you used a source? It landed you in a lawsuit. And what happened there, Katie? You can go all the way to the bank and say you won that lawsuit. You gave up your source and you used the pathetic excuse of you were manipulated. So don't you think that these kids were manipulated? I know they're grown adults, but they were kids. They were brought into this as kids. They were manipulated into believing this way of life, Katie Joy. Then she responds to comments and says, no, they didn't stop the cult. So I did get messages on my Twitter last night, or somebody tweeted out that we should go support Jessa and use her code and buy this. Why would we, or why would I now? And I just thought about this last night, you know, because I was so upset. I just went straight to sleep after a tweet in that because I was upset. Why would you guys now go and support a brand that dropped somebody like Jessa for not even knowing the truth, what she's been accused of? They didn't do their due diligence in verifying the lies that KJ fed, saying that she is all for child abuse. Katie doesn't know that. Katie has no proof of that. Katie has never seen that. Katie goes off her sources. Hearsay. I'm not going to support Native. They are absolutely disgusting. They are discriminating against Jessa. Then she goes on and she puts a whole video of Ben. Hold Ben responsible for saying all this about the LGBTQ community and the gay people. Hold him responsible. Don't hold Jessa responsible. Has anybody, I haven't heard of Jessa being homophobic. She's quick to call out Derek, which just the other day, she was sucking his ass. How he doesn't lie.
I'm against the lying. I'm against all of the lies. And not all of them lie. Like, Derek Dillard doesn't, you might not agree with everything that he says, but Derek Dillard doesn't lie. Like, he just doesn't. You might not agree with his politics. You might not agree with how he feels about people. But the one thing I will say about Derek is he doesn't fucking lie. Like, he means what he says and he says what he means and he holds to those convictions.
So she says, in the middle of the trial for Josh Duggar, Ben SeeWALD attacked bisexual and gay people. He stated in over 10-minute video that homosexuality is a sin and cannot be acted upon. He states that God does not want people to be gay. He commands people to pray and become more like God. His friend Owen compares homosexuality to pedophilia in terms of how morally wrong it is. Homophobic rhetoric like this leads to suicide in LGBTQ youth. Conversion therapy is illegal in dozens of states and does not work. Hate speech like this is dangerous to an already vulnerable community. Sponsors have the right to know that Jessa and her husband support harmful practices against LGBTQ people. She can blame herself and no one else for decisions to attach herself to a man that over and over promotes hate speech. Jessa believes exactly like Ben. They do not approve of anything other than heterosexual relationships, period. This is the opposite of inclusive. Number 1, Katie Joy. Bitter Betty. How do you know what goes on and how Jessa thinks? Because of what you heard they were taught, okay? Not from Jessa, not being around Jessa, not having a conversation with Jessa. HEARSAY. So she can blame herself for her decision to attach herself to this man. So you can also blame yourself for attaching yourself to your husband that was signed to a racist label. You say hate speech is dangerous. Katie Joy, that's exactly what you do on your channel. You spread hate. Let's go back to one of Jessa's videos, okay? Where you watched and you saw that Jessa's baby girl had a mark on her nose. What did you allude to? You alluded to the fact that she beat her child. She hit her child. And because of the way you speak so disparagingly about Jessa, go and look at the comments on Jessa's video on how you KJ, your followers go and harass her and that are just negative towards her. And you want to turn around and say that she's been feisty. Don't you think she could? For all the hatred, lies, the HEARSAY you put out about these people, what do you expect her to do? Just sit back and not take it? You also want to know how your followers are such hatred people. Go watch Amy Duggar King's Instagram. Look at all the hateful messages that people that's trying to protect you. That's fucked up. You want to stand up for and claim you are bisexual. Honestly speaking, I think you just use that to gain favor in the LGBTQ community. I think you just want the perks of that. Because as you said, you're in a monogamous relationship. You're happily married. You never cheated on your husband. Just my thoughts. And you want to talk about how this family, the Duggar family, the Duggar kids, you have so many times sat on your high chair recliner and with your own mouth you said, we have no idea the amount of abuse that goes on in that home. You said it. No proof. HEARSAY. You were the one that said that there's another brother in that family that's doing the exact same thing Joshua Duggar is doing.
And then I find out, on top of all of this stuff, I find out that Josh Duggar might not be the only Josh Duggar in the Duggar family. And I'm like, make this stop. Make this stop. Make all of it stop. I don't want to hear any of this. I don't want to learn any of this. Like, it's out of control. Like, Josh might not be the only one that's doing this kind of stuff. And, you know, it would make sense, right? You'd have to assume in a house with that many kids and not a lot of supervision, there would be there could be other perpetrators in that house at this time. And I don't think it's Jed. No, honestly. I haven't heard anything about Jed. There's a couple names that have been thrown around. All the people around them keep saying it's not just Josh. Come on. Does that surprise you? Would that surprise you? Please stop guessing. No, it's not John. Actually, John is like the only good one. John and Joseph are like the two solid kids. Honestly, that was what I've, like, those are the two solid boys I've heard about. Like, no one says anything bad about John and Joseph, literally. Josh is showing signs, I'm told, of acting out younger than when he started. Like, people are telling me that the stuff that was happening at their house with Josh and the girls was like between the year 2000 and probably after 2003. Like, everyone said that, like, they were told it stopped after 2003, but like most of the people I've talked to don't believe that. And they don't believe that it was only 5 girls. They think there was more.
So let's take a look at how you're so interested in these kids. You're not gonna stand for the abuse these kids go through. Let's look at you with your kid, okay? Locking him in a room with his dad for 10 hours while you sat on your...
Is he not asleep? Is he asleep? Come on.
I have spent 10 hours in that room.
God, don't. It's been a busy day. Sorry, you guys. It's been a rough day for everyone. Everyone's tired. He's not falling asleep. Everything will be fine. He has insomnia, yes. But when he gets really emotional, he has a hard time falling asleep. And he's very emotional. So I have to go because I need to take over for my husband. He is at his wit's end, and I want to thank you guys for being here. And bye.
On your high chair recliner, on a live, you gave a fuck about your kid. That you didn't even care to go and console him, be there for him, or even just give your husband a break from being in a room closed in with him for 10 hours, which you lied about at first. You lied and said that your husband was in there with the dog. How about not having faith in your own son, Katie Joy? But going on a panel and telling these women that you do believe your son is capable of murder.
My son is autistic, so
okay. Do you believe that your son could be manipulated into murdering somebody?
yes,
You do.
yes.
Why? And how? And where is your son at on the
He's
spectrum?
high functioning
He's high functioning. Why do you think that could happen?
because they're vulnerable. Because that you're actually the first one that we've talked to that has said that.
Because of his disability? That is fucked up. That is beyond fucked up. You lay with your kid knowing that you think you have COVID, but you want to be like Mom of the Year and take a picture of him with you laying with him. Did you not think that you could be putting him in harm's way? Since you don't let him go to school, you don't let him go out, you don't take him out, you're trying to protect him, but you thought you had COVID, but you still laid next to him and cuddled with him. That is fucked up. What about only posting your son when you need to come across as the good mother? Blurring out his face, but you will never blur out any other child's face that you put on your Instagram. Don't you think your son needs privacy, KJ? You'll post a picture of you tube feeding him. When he grows up, do you think he's gonna appreciate it, Katie? I don't think so. This woman, and here's proof, the way her husband has to communicate with her, with help with their child, is through messages. And here it is, yeah, you guys. You can read the top of there. He's called the tooth fairy. He's asking her to please go and feed their child. He needs help feeding the child and giving him his meds. And then he's saying in the next one, oh, it's still the same as last night. Meaning the kid is not having a good night. But what is Katie Joy doing? Talking about the duckers. So the liar that you guys follow, that goes so hard for KJ, she will use anything to gain sympathy from you. Another typical example is when she blamed her neighbor with a hate crime and said that the neighbor ripped her pride flag. In the meantime, it's been proven that flag was torn due to the weather. She will go to any lengths, any lengths to gain sympathy, to make the next person look bad. How is this okay? In my opinion, Jessa is making an honest living, opposed to KJ that's harming, falsifying stories, lying about people, and making thousands and thousands of dollars a month of the alleged abuse that she claims of kids and women. So I'm gonna ask YouTube or anybody else that has a bigger platform to speak about this, to call KJ out. She took food out of the mouth of Jessa's kids, off of lies, off of jealousy. How is that okay? She did not approve of people going real life on her. She freaked the fuck out when somebody reported her to Sinbad and even blamed the wrong person. And that's what KJ is famous for, blaming wrong people for certain things. She freaked the fuck out. So why, if she knew the feeling of somebody doing that to her, why would she do it to somebody else? She hates these people. She's envious of these people. So why is this okay for her to do? Why is YouTube allowing her to keep on this road of harassment to the Duggar kids, except Joshua Duggar, that has been proven to do fucked up things? She harasses them, she discriminates against them. Here's the definition. And what do we have in this country? Freedom of religion. At the end of the day, these are innocent kids being targeted and harassed. And if I'm wrong, I apologize. But when it comes to Katie Joy, this is all the way fucked up. She is an evil, bitter, lonely, selfish, arrogant, and fucked up woman, in my opinion. And Katie Joy, nobody could have said it better.
I'm petty. I'm a petty bitch like that.
You are a petty bitch. You guys, I'm gonna leave it as that. Thank you so much for watching. I promise you the part 2 of my previous video will be out by tomorrow. I thought this was more important. As for Native, you guys should be ashamed of yourselves for going off the word of somebody that lies on people. So you guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so be notified each time I upload. Also, please be safe out there. Please wear your mask. Be kind to one another and make good memories. Bye, guys.